What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another Epic 7 video. I mentioned in our patch summary earlier this week that the balance patch would be coming this week, and it's finally here. I did take a quick look at the 5 stars, or more accurately, the people that let me know that the patch notes were live. They did kind of spoil that Sage Vivian was on here, but I was very surprised to see Remnant Violet. I haven't seen the rest here. We have a Yuna as our only other 5-star, Free Spirit Tierra, Mercedes. That's interesting. Mercedes used to be very popular in Guild Wars, but she's kind of been phased out. Camilla, I think, is already a great 3-star compared to most that don't have specialty changes. Still see her a lot in Ancient Inheritance, so I'm wondering what they're giving her. And then we have Ather, last but not least. Okay. And then the artifacts are just all 3 stars. Wow. I don't think we've seen this before, but maybe just to try to help new players come into the game, give them a little bit more of a boost before they get the 4 and 5 stars that are much better. But real quick, guys, talking about these two, Remnant Violet is interesting. I wasn't expecting that. But he always does get the short end of the stick, meaning when newer characters come out, a lot of them just have like debuff removal, turn buff duration removal, and that kind of just counters him. He's one of the few units left, I think, that has like a buff evasion instead of a built-in evasion, right? So I think the built-in evasion on units like Aiden and things like that is much better than his, because every unit that comes out that just strips stuff really just counters him, and it's hard to use him. Sage Vivian, on the other hand, hasn't been used since the days of when Apocalypse Ravi was running rampant. So I was actually saying, guys, on my live streams that I think she's one of the most that needs buffs, especially now that Haste finally got looked at. So I'm super happy to see her here, and I can't wait to see what they have in store. But let's get to it. Remnant Violet. All right, Sword Flash, we have damage dealt increases, just the skill 1, I believe. Yeah, Concentration is the S2, and then Massacre S3. So Concentration. All right, so they are going to give him the built-in evasion. Start of the battle. Yeah, it used to give 100% at the start of the... He would always get the evasion, but things like unbuffable, debuffs and things and then especially the strips and all that really made him hard to use. So building this in is very, very good. Is this going to be able to stack on? No, I believe, guys, on the patch notes, right? These are already added. This is already showing the max amount, because this would be our first unit that could stack, because you add an evasion artifact on top plus 20. It should be 70. Now instead of generating evasion, increase effect, permanently increase. Okay, so yeah, he has 50 base. So this is already included. And then Massacre, the skill 3, damage dealt increased on top of that. Okay, so skill 1 and skill 3, just straight up damage. I'm curious how much that is. And then just the evasion is now going to be built in instead of having to worry about the buff, which gets countered by a lot of stuff. So I think this is a great change. It's very simplistic. I don't know if he needed damage, but you know what? If we're going to be looking at him, let's go for it. I do think Remnant Violet, though, is a unit where... depending, like a lot of times, if you don't know what you're doing, you just draft him and he can take over games. And now it's going to be even better because he has fewer units that can kind of deal with his survivability, and he's going to do more damage. I think he's going to be very scary. I like this change from Smilegate. Let's see, Sage Vivian. This is one I'm very interested in here. So Mana Attunement, I need to refresh myself. I haven't used her in forever. Her skill 1 used to do speed up. Okay, nothing else. Now it increases attack by 20 and it scales up to 3 times. Okay. And damage dealt is just increased. So she can do more damage base, and then it should also scale up, scale up some attack on top of that. Inside her passive, this is the one that was really weak because just a lot of units could kind of bypass it. Start of the first battle, fully recovers focus. Okay, before she used to gain 3, and at the turn gain 1 focus. When focus 3 or higher, immune to debuffs. Wow. When focus is 3 or higher, immune to debuffs. That's actually huge. What's this other? So 30% when attacked, expected damage suffered is equal to... Okay, this is what I was kind of briefly mentioning. Her survivability compared to a lot of, especially newer units, just felt very subpar. And it was very easy, especially when like you have 4 units. Sometimes even the supports and knights and things like that could chip down her focus. So I think them increasing her threshold here a little bit is nice. So that way she's more likely to hold... those focus from getting consumed and save it for those big hits, right? Whereas before, a lot of times, I don't know if 5% is going to be enough, but either way, this whole thing right here with the immunity to debuffs and then getting fully recovering focus at the start is huge. Let's see, her skill 3, Nature's Judgment, attacks all enemies. Yeah, we know that. Damage will increase with more enemies. The amount increased, or amount recovered increased proportional to the caster's attack. And then we get a cooldown reduction. Yeah, it used to be 6. And now it's 4. What else did we... Okay, so we're losing the crit damage up. Oh, and we're also losing... She had a self-attack up. And then the increased attack can stack up. Okay, so we essentially swapped that up to the skill 1. Right? Which is much better because we're going to be using this more often. And instead, now we can kind of press the skill through more often now that's a 4-turn cooldown. Our passive is better. The immunity debuffs is huge. We're less likely to lose focus. We did lose crit damage up for the team. But honestly, I love these changes. I think she's going to put her back in a role where she's going to be a scary kind of carry style unit that if you play her correctly, right, or at least bring her into comps where maybe she can hold her focus, the immunity debuffs, and then I think she's going to be doing just much more damage overall, right? Even despite losing the crit damage, because the scaling is now on skill 1, so she'll get that damage higher, faster, and we also get some damage dealt increase. So hopefully, maybe, yeah, I think all of it is just, I love this. I think this is a good change from Smilegate. Yeah, they're talking about the skill cooldown. Okay, well, cool. I want to read more on that, but guys, we got to get more to it. There's a lot more units to get to, I should say. But I'm very excited to try out those new SSV Sage Vivian buffs. So Yuna, one of the OG characters, the Isekai girl. Homing laser. Attacks all enemies with a drone. So she gets increased combat radius by 15, increased combat radius of all allies by 5. And before it was kind of like a per target, and all the allies by 2% per target. I haven't used Yuna in forever either. She's also getting more damage here too. But guys, in the past, people use things like counter Yuna. Some people had some crazy cool builds for her. So you know what? I like to see Smilegate give her some love. The upgrade now. Let's see the Awaken 1 upgrade now. 4 down. Wait. So it actually gets an increased cooldown. Sometimes they put this in green when before red is even lower. But buffs all allies and now attack and speed for 3 turns, right? Okay. So yeah, one turn up here. And then grants an extra turn on top of that. Okay, that's huge. And then Master Cannon. Let's see. They're taking off the crit. And they're moving the extra attack here to the upgrade. Okay. And then they're going to have to change her EE as well. Guys, I like this. I don't know if this is going to make her, like, super good. Because a lot of the original units in the game... Speaking of, guys, where's the Luna buff? Not Yuna. But yeah, I like it. I think a lot of people like Yuna, and she has actually a lot of varied builds. So hopefully these changes are going to bring her back onto the map, right? All right, what the heck are they doing in Free Spirit T area? She's mostly a PvE farmer, but the China server did give her a skin, so maybe that's why they were kind of looking at her. She's going to get HP scaling damage. Okay, where before is critical hit. Energy wave, right? Damage dealt increase, and then Pursuit Cut is going to get damage dealt with I don't mean HP scaling, target max HP scaling. So for things like PvE or just anywhere, right, where the mob has more health, the enemy has more health, she'll do more damage, and we get damage dealt increase too on top of that. Okay, just more damage across the board. I don't know if we needed that, but sure, why not, right? For helping newer players, she's a great farming unit. All right, Mercedes Fire Meru. Divine Bolt just gets damage dealt increase. That's kind of the theme of this patch. Dimensional Rupture. When the caster grants increased attack, it grants an extra attack with the same skill. I thought it did that already, no? Was that on a different... Let me see here. It activates Dimensional Rupture again, right? So this is the same thing. When the caster grants increased attack, activates Dimensional Rupture. It grants an extra attack with the same skill. I'm not sure... Oh, they remove, guys, they remove the, so it can be used more than once now, right? We'll go and read what they say here in the text below. But the S3 also gets damage dealt increased. And we're moving the Soul Burn from Skill 2 Dimensional Rupture now to Blazing Eye of Call. Extends the duration of buffs granted by the skill by 1 turn. Okay. So we get, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Let's see here. Mercedes now deals consistent damage regardless of the number of enemies. And it no longer has its damage increased based on the numbers. Instead, its base has been increased. She now deals an extra attack without damage reduction. I see. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of like qualifiers in terms of the amount of enemies. But does that mean... I'm assuming we can this can proc more than once now. Additionally, Divine Bolt and Blazing Eye has been increased, and the Soul Burn effect. Okay, they didn't mention anything about that, guys, but yeah, just straight up damage across the board, and they take the qualifiers out too. If it is that she can cast like the extra attack more than once, that's pretty big, because before it used to only be, yeah, once ever, I think. Okay, anyways, very good for Meru. Maybe she'll come back to some Guild War defense. Maybe we'll see her in some RTA. Camilla, I mentioned she was already good. She's going to be getting... Oh, she's losing Skill Nullifier and getting an increased duration. from 2 turns to 3 turns. Okay. It's weird to take away skill null. The swift execution is going to get damage results increased. All right. This change is so minor. I'm just going to read what they say here in the text. Camilla now deals higher sustained damage. Tactical maneuver skill nullifiers have been removed. Instead, the attack grants yourself an ally. Yeah, they extend it 1 extra turn. And then flashing blades dual attack also has been enhanced for more frequent use. Okay, I mean, sure, why not? But Camilla was already great. I don't. It's kind. It just feels like they're just padding. But the rest of the changes I really like. I just think Camilla was already in a great spot, and I'm sure some people out there is going to be upset that she lost her skill nullifier. But doing more damage and having more buff duration is great. All right. Last but not least, we have Ather. Recovers an ally's health, and now it's going to mount recover increased proportional to the target's max health, where before it was proportional to the target's max health and the caster's attack. Okay. This is always weird, right? Especially on a Soul Weaver, guys. It makes you build in weird ways. We do have units, I think, like Mascot Hazel that has some sort of attack coefficients. But regardless, now Ather, I guess, we can just have better healing and just worry about health. And then I'm assuming the same thing here with an increased barrier strength. And then they take away the attack coefficient. Okay, cool. For new players mostly. And speaking of new players, let's check out these 3-star artifacts. The Mighty Yaksha used to just be a 5 to 10% attack and defense below 50. And now it's just attack by 10 to 20. So they take out the defense, but now it's always when 50% or more. So this is now a great artifact for people just starting out. You're going to get effectively, because it's 3-star, you always max imprint this. 20% for most PvE battles, or just anything, right? Just 20% attack is pretty nice. Okay, I like that. Goblin Lamp. I remember using this way back in the day. When an enemy is defeated, there's a chance to acquire 1 soul. Where before it used to do like some kind of, weird healing thing at the end of the turn. No, at the start of the battle. Okay, now it's completely different. Now you get a soul. Interesting. Envoy's Pipe. This was actually one that was pretty good too. I think we sometimes ran this in hunts when you start out a brand new account if you needed it. When attack damage suffered by 5 to 10% decreases when more than 1 damage reduction is granted. Yeah, we know about that. So 5 to 10% when attacked. Or before it was only when they took out the qualifier here, guys, of the caster's health is 50% or less, right? And now you're just always 5%, 10% damage decrease across the board. All these are just addressed new players, but I like this a lot. And then Ascending Axe is just a straight 6 to 12 crit. Okay, cool. You know what, guys? I don't mind this. I think probably some people wanted to see some 5-star artifacts get adjusted. But just like the Ather kind of buff, maybe the Camilla and Free Spirit Tieria, these are targeted at players that, just don't have a lot of units to their roster yet. And maybe artifacts as well. And so they get a bit of a boost here. And just have artifacts that are much better. These are so much better than the left-hand side. So I kind of like that. Oh, wow. People are not too happy with the buffs, huh? Not a single good change. I'm surprised, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Maybe it's just because I love Sage Vivian. But, wow. I think most people are kind of upset. So I think... Sorry, guys. We're already pretty far into the video. But let me just make one last statement here. Because I'm actually surprised. But I think when I was mentioning like Remnant Violet, these changes are super simple. A lot of times though, guys, if you want every unit to become buffed like Blood Moon Haste, for example, that's not always super healthy for the game, where you get a complete rework and the unit is just busted from the get-go. I like these changes from Smilegate where they address the issue, right? Where he was weaker in many regards to other evasion units. And then you know what? They didn't even need to stack on extra damage, but they did on the skill 1 and skill 3. Let's wait and see before we kind of say, that this patch sucks. If you want to say it's boring, I get that, because these are very simple changes. But the SSV2, as someone that played this unit a lot and wanted to play her in especially real-time arena and draft her in spots where I couldn't because she just had so many counters, I think the skill 2 passive especially just addresses a lot and lets her be more playable. Same thing, exact same thing with Remnant Violet. So while not exciting, I do think this will get these units back on back on the radar and let players that love using these 2 units, at least in my opinion, have a much better fighting chance, especially fighting those powerful newer units that have come after them. But yeah, like I said, the 3 stars plus all these like random Ather Free Spirit tier, you know what? I kind of get why people might be upset, but I think the 5 stars were done very well, and not every patch has to be the level of Blood Moon Haste. Ridiculous, insane buffs. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to tune into the E7WC later. I will be casting it, and I hope to see y'all there. Thank you so much, guys. Catch you all in the next one.